will, one resolve, one cause. Our enemies shall talk themselves to death, and we will bury them with their own confusion. We shall prevail.
Great commercial. Can you make a revolution without breaking a few eggs? I'm Alan Barton. Stand by for a special Facebook edition of Front Page. Joining me in PJTV studios, Terry Jones, Associate Editor of Investors Business Daily, and Alex Epstein, a Fellow at the Ayn Rand Center for Individual Rights. All right, gentlemen, former George W. Bush speechwriter David Frum, not happy with the direction of the GOP. He wrote an essay earlier this week. He says, "I see some things I don't believe in, forcing the United States to the verge of default, shrugging off the needs and concerns of millions of unemployed, protecting every single loophole, giveaway, and boondoggle in the tax code, massive government budget cuts in the midst of the worst recession since World War II." This is theoretically a conservative writing this stuff. I thought, is this a Huffington Post joke on David Frum? So let's take his concerns in turn. Terry, about this debt debate. Was it a good thing or a bad thing for the U.S. to have this debate? Everyone goes we shouldn't just have it. They should just be allowed to raise the debt whenever they... I think the debate is a good thing.
I think the debate is terribly healthy, and it's one of the few things that we can do to get people involved and interested and also caring about it and not thinking that this is just something that's going to be done to them. And right now we've gone through the first stage of this debate. The debate cannot be over because certainly the debt ceiling deal did not solve the debt problem. And so we have to keep going from here. But this first stage of this debate, I think, is very healthy, and it sort of, I think it draws a line in the sand between the two parties, and I think that's a healthy thing.
Alex, Mr. Frum alludes to the idea of government support for the unemployed and the GOP as being heartless by maybe not wanting as much support for the unemployed as he would like. What's the best means of supporting the unemployed?
Well, I'd say two things. I mean, he talks about how these budget cuts are cruel. We should think of budget cuts as capital increases in the economy, because the less money the government is taking from people, the more money they have to do productive things. And the second thing is, if you want the unemployed to become employed, why don't you try making life possible or easy for the employers? So that's what's going on today, is that employers, the people who actually create jobs and need to make a profit to create jobs, are completely being strangled. And in the industry I study, energy, you've got opportunities all over the place for development, mining, and oil, coal, all kinds of places, and these are being held up. So liberate the energy industry, liberate the other industries, and jobs will follow.
Terry, the president has railed about 7,000 times, I think, in the last 3 months about corporate jets. Corporate jet owners, which of course, you go like corporate jet owners, it's probably a corporation. So if you're going to tax the corporation, guess what they're going to do? They're going to raise their price. But is this a fair characterization that the GOP is this defender of the wealthy against the interests of the poor? You know, it's just, that's part of the emotional narrative that they play all the time.
No, it's utterly unfair, and in fact, it's quite the contrary. And I'm not here to be a shill for the GOP, because I frequently criticize them for a number of things, but the GOP, in speaking out on behalf of capital owners, is actually speaking out on behalf of the poor, because capital, when it's effectively deployed, creates jobs. It creates places for people to go to and earn incomes, and it takes them off the dole, and it lets them lead productive and happy lives. And when government stands between capital and its ultimate profitable usage, it destroys jobs and destroys that potential for a happy, productive life. So Democrats, to the extent that, whether it's well-meaning or not, I'm not going to get into that debate, but to the extent that they want to tax businesses higher, want to tax the wealthy higher, want to tax anybody who's successful at a higher rate, are doing their damnedest, it seems, to destroy the success of our economy.
Well, it's also a sense that there's a single pie with only so much in it. There's only so much wealth in this pie, and it's been divvied up unfairly, isn't that right, Alex? I mean, that's sort of part of the narrative. It's been divvied up unfairly. We're going to take some of the pie back, and they don't have the notion of that the pie gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger the freer system that you have. So the rich get richer, the poor get richer.
Yeah, so it's important, I mean, if you're going to understand anything in economics, to understand the phenomenon of wealth production / wealth creation. But I would say in terms of this rich and poor and who supports what, do the Democrats or Republicans, to a big extent, both the Democrats and Republicans support a mixed economy, which is a mixture of freedom and controls. And what you get with that is you get special privileges for certain poor people, but also special privileges for certain rich people, including some privileges associated with the financial markets. So what we should be in favor of is not favoring the rich or defending the poor. It's getting out of the mixed economy in which the productive will succeed and the unproductive won't, or at least they'll be required to succeed. So we should be defenders of the productive, which means getting the government out of the economy. We shouldn't, I mean, neither side should act like, oh, if you're rich, you're automatically good. If you're poor, you're automatically bad. That's not the real distinction.
All right, gentlemen, that's all the time we have for today. Viewers, Front Page has all the analysis you need of the events in the news every Friday and Saturday. If you like this program, please let us know by clicking that button below. Help your friends get the right media in their social media by telling them about Front Page and PJTV. For Terry and Alex, I'm Alan Barton. Thanks for watching Front Page.